Welcome to the ANEW Body Insight podcast, empowering and inspiring your journey to optimal health. Hosted by Dr. Supatra Tovar, clinical psychologist, registered dietitian, fitness expert, and author of Deprogrammed Diet Culture. Rethink your relationship with food, heal your mind, and live a diet-free life. And Chantal Donnelly, physical therapist and author of Settled, How to Find Calm in a Stress-Inducing World. Here at City Club Los Angeles, we follow our guests' journey to optimal health, providing you with the keys to unlock your own wellness path. Tune in and evolve with us. Welcome back to the ANEW Body Insight podcast. We are back for the second half of our episode with Wellnest President and CEO and Chair of City Club, Charlene Dimas-Peinado at City Club Los Angeles. Welcome back.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Tovar.
Charlene gave us some really insightful background on her inspiration to become a leader in the mental health field, and we are very excited to learn some more. So, Charlene, can you please tell us about the significance of community partnerships? You mentioned it a little bit in the last episode, the last part, but how has that enhanced and advanced wellness mission and enhanced your service delivery? Who do you partner with, and tell us more?
Yeah, it's an excellent question. So those partnerships are so critical to us and others. Mm-hmm. So, for example, we partner with the LA Unified School District, as we're here in Los Angeles, and providing school-based mental health services. We're currently in approximately 30 schools where our staff go out into the schools and work with school staff to identify children and families that need mental health services and provide those services there where they need them. We also partner with FQHCs, federally qualified healthcare centers, because they're in the community providing the healthcare needs to our children and families. And it's not uncommon that they will see that there's a mental health issue at the core of a healthcare reason that the family may have come in for services. And they will often refer to us, and it works very well. It's a warm handoff to us. So we also partner with healthcare providers in the community to, again, ensure that they know that we're in the community and we can provide that support. We partner with other social service agencies. It could be for food. It could be for housing. It could be for essentials. You know, we work with babies and families, and oftentimes they may need access to diapers or formula. And so we have a community center where families can come into our agency and have access to clothing or any of those items that they may need. Although our core services is trauma-informed services, again, families may need more than that. It's a way for us to work cross-collaboratively, leverage resources for each other, and we even partner and looking for new funding together to advocate and educate. So this is why those partnerships are so important.
Yes. I used to do work in the LA Unified School District from my internship that I mentioned before. And I think that is so incredibly valuable, helping to identify the kids that really, they're always labeled as the troubled kid or the bad kid. And I really never like to hear that, because you really know that that's happening at a systemic level. There may be issues in the home. There may be issues with food security or insecurity. There's so many issues. And so getting really into the school districts, but also in these community organizations. And I think it is a cross-collaboration effort to try to help them on all efforts.
Absolutely. And for children, they spend the majority of their time in schools, right?
Yes.
Long days. And so oftentimes it's the teachers or the counselors that may see that they're already presenting with a behavior or some symptoms that is impacting their ability to benefit from that educational setting. Now, keep in mind that many children are experiencing a treatable mental health issue or concern.
Yes, absolutely.
So the sooner we identify that issue and the sooner we intervene, the greater long-term positive impact we can have. So that you can see why that collaboration is so important in identifying those situations and then bringing in partners so that we can help each other and that work together.
Tell me just a little bit more about the work that you do for the families, for the parents on an individual level. I know you provide the family services. Give me a picture of the services you provide to adults.
So as I mentioned, our focus are children, that they're the identified client, but we work with the parents in the context of the child. So if we're noticing that the parent may be experiencing a mental health issue as well, then we're able to also serve that parent.
That's great.
So say, for example, you have a mother. I mentioned earlier, we start serving children the moment they're born. 0 to 5 is also very critical and very vulnerable stage of development. From age 0 to 5, a lot happens, right? Attachment has to occur at birth. The brain is growing the fastest from 0 to 3. And that ego formation is occurring in early childhood. And parents play a very important role in that. So what we're also doing is we're assessing the health and mental health of the parent or the caretakers. Sometimes it can be a grandparent. Sometimes it could be extended family members that have become the family or the caretakers of our children. So we're also doing a psychosocial assessment on the caretakers and the family system, and then determining, are they able to keep that child safe, nurture, love, and continue to provide the support and resources that child may need. If they're not able to, then we're looking at also intervening, providing services directly ourselves, or referring them to an appropriate agency that is more relevant to whatever their need may be. So we're also serving that family in that way. Again, connecting them, linkage to other viable resources that is going to help them, again, to create a healthy family environment for the child.
I'm curious what you do for adults who may have still that kind of stigma against mental health. How do you help them embrace treatment if they've been told you're weak if you go and get mental health treatment, there's something wrong with you, you don't need it? How do you bridge that gap?
By having that conversation. And exploring, how they're feeling about being there. Now, our staff are also trained in building trust and helping families to feel comfortable and empowering them to help empower families to come in and feel good about that experience they're going to have. And we want our clients to come in and know that we're not there to judge them. It's a strength-based approach. We believe that all children, all individuals, all families have strengths. And we're going to focus on those strengths first. Because when families know that that's what you're doing, they're going to let their guard down and they're going to allow themselves to engage in that therapeutic partnership and experience. So they play a very important role in that success. Now, one of the things we do see in our communities is that generational trauma. That often parents come in and, as you know, will displace onto their children. So our staff are also trained in recognizing generational trauma and address generational trauma with those caretakers and adults.
That's beautiful. Well, I want to pivot now. We've talked a lot about wellness, but you are also the chair of the Board of Governors here at City Club. And for those of you who don't know, City Club is this beautiful business and networking club, and it has this amazing history in inclusivity and diversity. So just tell us about that. Tell us about becoming the chair, and how do you balance everything? You're on three boards. Three? Is that correct? 3 boards along with being the president and CEO. How do you do it all? Lay it on us.
So when I was, I've been a member here at the club for 15 years, and I've always enjoyed the interaction and the environment. I very much appreciate its legacy and history of being an inclusive club. And I absolutely embrace the importance of business, civic, and nonprofits coming together to solve community issues collectively. And that's what happens here at this club. And that's just another example of cross-sector collaboration. So that was the draw, that not, again, the legacy, the history, but that cross-collaboration that occurs right here at this club. And if you think about it, when you're leading an organization, you want to build those relationships. I'm also cultivating, donors that want to learn and want to have an impact somewhere, and where mental health resonates with them for whatever reason, as well as future board members, future staff, our workforce development.
Yes.
And, we're a business. We do business. We, are looking for the best healthcare plans for our staff. We're looking for the best technology and innovation to bring to the organization. So you can see how we're also, engaging to do business and bring the best of the best that is here, that exists right here at this business club.
Yes, I have had the same experience.
Yeah.
I've obviously met you,
been
blown away by your history and background, but others, Yen Wang is in the audience right now. She was on our podcast as well. Incredible Reiki master. I've met so many amazing people here, and so I think that there's just so much to be gained just by being social. I think the pandemic kind of beat the social out of us for a while, and we're all started crawling out of our, little homes and coming back into society. And I think that there's so much to be gained by just, collaborating, being social with each other, learning more about each other. So give me some ideas of how you are leading City Club. What is your goal and mission for your governorship?
So you're aware that I have an executive board of governors. It's the chairs of all the committees, and we have a new, dynamic visionary, Monique Dominguez, that just joined us as a general manager. And all of the chairs, together with the staff, we're working collectively to, again, ensure that we are the premier business club here in Los Angeles, that we are a hub where people can come and benefit for whatever reason they're looking for, right? And that this is a place that you can be. We're looking to lift you, whatever that may be, if you're wanting to promote your business, meet other like-minded professionals, develop your business acumen. AI is very new. We've had some amazing presentation by subject matter experts, but also coming together and looking at, as a city of LA, how do we also have impact? How do we come together in our civic duties and supporting each other? How do we ensure that we continue to be inclusive and that we look like LA as a leadership, and that we're also creating a pipeline of future leaders that are going to succeed the staff in those positions, succeed me, as well as all the chairs of the committees. So those are just some of the areas that we're working on, is continuing to be viewed and experienced as a premier business club.
And what I'd like to add to that is, I think when you compare business clubs around Los Angeles, I think City Club does an amazing job of getting out into the community and giving back to the community. Give the listeners a little example of some of the activities that have been put forth in the community so far this year.
Absolutely. So we've gone out to the food bank to package food to address, hunger in our communities. We participate at the Edelman Children's Court. These are children that are going from foster care to being adopted. So we go and it's a very important day, and we go and we participate in that event. We also participate, and we recently raised money through our golf committee to help support young future golfers to participate and get training without the cost. And these are young people that, it's a sport and it's a great way to engage them in something positive. We also did an event where we partnered with all the universities to bring young students and graduates to engage with us that are looking for people to join us in workforce development, or also to be role models to them, to be mentors to them as it relates to how do you go into psychology or healthcare or technology. We partnered them with many of the business leaders here to be those mentors, to be those role models for them. Those are a few examples of some activities that we've been involved in the community and planning to do more.
Oh, yes. And I just think that there's so much happening here. It's really wonderful. Back to mental health services, what initiatives are you currently spearheading to expand access to mental health services in Los Angeles?
So an area that we are looking to really build on is continue to help inform and educate our legislators, okay? So that we can impact and inform policy.
Yes.
Okay. So we are out there, we're involved in many associations, locally, in the city of LA, statewide, and nationally. And, one of the reasons why I participate in the LA Chamber, we go to Access DC to speak at the national level to our electeds to talk about what the needs in the community are, such as childhood poverty, the lack of affordable childcare for women, issues that women experience, healthcare, mental health, housing. All of those areas we go and have talk about that at a national level. The LA Chamber also has Access Sacramento, where we do that at the state level. And I mentioned trade associations that we're involved in. Wellness is very involved at the local, state, and national level. Again, education, informing our legislators, partnering with them. This evening, I'm going to go have dinner with Mayor Karen Bass to talk about the issues here in the city of LA. And hopefully, as a provider, share the experiences that we're having in LA. Because I always say, if you really want to understand the issues, talk to the people closest to the problem.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yes.
And so I always say our staff are out there doing the work where it matters the most. They're on the front line. They're in the trenches.
Yes. Well, we need to collaborate more on that because
exactly.
We actually have her deputy mayor, Dr. Agonifer. She's going to be honored here at City Club. She's one of our unstoppable women. And I met her through Los Angeles County Psych Association. And we want to do work on her, we formed a task force within the association and really want to work with her on Inside Safe.
Yes.
So I see some collaboration between us happening in the future too, which would be amazing.
Absolutely.
And just tell us, how did you get involved with the chamber? She's invited me to one of the meetings. I'm so excited about it. And so that's going to be how I got involved with it. But please tell me how you got involved with it.
Again, just that partnership. We cannot be successful if we're in silos. And I just saw the value in participating in the chamber and just got in there and got involved and have been active for all the reasons we've talked about. Is, the chamber plays a prominent role here, and the chamber has a mission to also have an impact in the community. Children, families, they're the future of this city. And we want to ensure that they, again, have all those resources, and the LA Chamber is just outstanding in doing that kind of work. And they bring corporate together, they bring small businesses together, women who are entrepreneurs, such as yourself. We come together, nonprofits, and they're just great at helping us to, again, leverage, partner, and bring those resources together. There's more power in numbers, right?
Yes.
So when you ask what's in the future is, again, doing more of that, being more active, with our legislators, continuing to expand school-based mental health services. Although, trauma mental health is our core services, continuing to grow those services for all children, regardless of their income level, as well as we're housing transition age youth. These are young people emancipating from foster care. And what we say, our philosophy is that we're housing promise because we believe they're promise. They're not underserved or underrepresented or marginalized. They're young people with promise. And so, again, how do we continue to bring critically needed services to this population because they are our future. And we need to remember that they're the generation that needs our support now more than ever.
Yes.
So continuing to grow those services. And then early intervention and prevention, critical. Now, right now, funding is usually for when the diagnosis has already been established, or a child is in crisis, or they're being hospitalized. We need to even think differently.
Yeah.
We need to come in earlier and intervene to do more early intervention and prevention to prevent these crisis situations.
Absolutely.
And the more we invest, there will be more cost savings in the long run.
Totally. I used to do community health education for children who were kind of on the cusp of becoming overweight or obese.
Yes.
And really helping them with
Absolutely.
dietary education. I think early intervention is so powerful because it not only affects that generation, but it'll affect the next generation after them. You are the embodiment of it takes a village. You really are. You have such a far reach in this community, and I think you're just such a blessing to mental health services, but also just to community and community building. And so we're just so lucky and blessed to have you. We're going to open up some questions from the audience, but first, how do people get in touch with you? How do they collaborate with you? Give us some idea of how to get a hold of you.
I love it when people reach out to me, by the way. So, you can reach out to me through LinkedIn. It's not uncommon people reach out to me through LinkedIn. Social media. You can access me also through our website at Wellnest. I'm here at the club all the time, and happy to have lunch or dinner. And just, I love to get to know you, and I love for you to get to know, what we're doing. And then I'm always kind of looking at, hey, how can we support each other? How do we, work for the greater good?
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. She is such a force of nature. Questions from the audience. I know that there's going to be questions and people are eager. Yes, come to the mic.
Hello. So I was wondering with your organization, what happens after the kids are adults?
So as I mentioned, once they turn 24, they are transitioned out. The idea is that we're able to meet all of their treatment goals and objectives so that they're at a point where we can bring closure and that they're ready to move on. But it's not uncommon that they may have more long-term issues, and so we would connect them with an adult agency. So, for example, they may have need for medication where it's long-term. They may have a more severe diagnosis such as bipolar or schizophrenia where they're going to need ongoing support by a psychiatrist. So then we would, again, link them to a psychiatrist that can see them on a long-term basis.
Great.
Hi, my name is Stacy, and thank you both. It's so informative. In the first section, you spoke about 3 issues that you're seeing more today, and it was anxiety, depression, and suicide. We know through evidence that nutrition plays a role in anxiety and also depression. So I was wondering how you address or support that physical aspect through diet and exercise. And this is kind of a question for both of you because you're going to have that nutritional background. So I was just wondering just maybe a few examples of how you incorporate that support, because I know, we know if you're healthy, it can really help with behavioral issues and mental health issues.
Yes.
Absolutely. So in addition, our staff will see we take a multidisciplinary approach to serving our children and families. So it will include a psychotherapist, case manager, sometimes a psychologist, sometimes a psychiatrist. We also have parent partners. And all of them collectively, as I mentioned, they look at the environment. They look at whole person care. And so they're also not only connecting them to all the viable resources that they need, but they're also ensuring that they have access to healthy food. It's not uncommon where our staff will go into the home and demonstrate, how do you buy healthy food items?
Yes.
How do you cook healthy, nutritional food for your children? We have our experts in 0 to 5 where they're working with the moms and the baby. What is healthy nutrition? How do you select foods that are good for brain development? So a lot of educating, coaching, and mentoring. Breastfeeding is a big one that we do as well. Same with our teenagers. All age groups is looking to educate, ensure they have those resources, or connecting them as well. And then exercise. We talk about exercise. We talk about them, not spending too much time in front of the television or on their computers, but going out and physical movement, walking, running, engaging in sports activities. And if families are not able to afford sports because they're expensive, we can support them in that to help their kids get involved in baseball, basketball, soccer, and then also as well as mothers getting involved and getting connected with the Y, with the Boys and Girls Club. Those are associations where, again, they will have access to opportunities for physical activities and then access to healthy food. So those are just some examples as it relates to whole person care.
Yes, and I'll agree. When I was doing my community education class, my favorite part was taking everybody to the grocery store because there's so many misconceptions. People don't really understand unit pricing, which I think was really informative to the people in my class, in that they thought, okay, well, this is this price, so I know that it's going to be cheaper for me. And I would teach them about the nutritional content of food and how to find the best deals for their money, and increasing their nutrition as well. So I think it's so important that we're out there educating in the grocery store, in the home, with cooking, and how we can do this affordably is really important.
And just want to add, like with our mothers with the babies, we connect them with WIC, so they have access to those nutritious food. Mothers markets, okay? And then again, starting early about selecting good foods for their babies early on.
Yes.
Not the high sugar content foods that are common or fast food because they're so unhealthy.
Yeah. It's so interesting when I was interviewing for my clinical psychology program, I was coming from dietetics, and the person interviewing me asked, "Why are you switching careers?" And I was really taken aback by that because I said, I'm absolutely not switching careers. I'm enhancing my career because now nutritional psychology is an actual field. But when I was in school, people didn't really see the connection with nutrition and mental health. And it is a vital part of my practice and is completely a part of when a client comes to me, I will assess what is their nutritional health right now and how can I enhance that to enhance their mental health. So,
and one other component too is green space. Having our children and families go out to the parks, to the mountains, to the ocean. And there's research that clearly shows that when we're in these natural environments, that helps to stimulate our adrenaline to also help us cope with day-to-day activities.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I know that LA is park poor, but again, we do have areas where you can guide them and encourage them to go there and take their children.
Yes.
Children need to run and they need to, fall and have fun and also experience the natural environment for that emotional healing and building resilience.
I love that. I love that.
Well,
Yay.
Thank you so much, Charlene, for this informative session. I have no idea that you really working at the root of it is to be at the stage of the baby when the baby was born, which is
Absolutely.
amazing because that's how we can really get ahead.
Yes.
Instead of getting into the traumatic stage, you're already kind of preventing it, which is the
Exactly.
best approach of everything else, right? And thanks for leading all these great questions as well. So for me is I noticed that, yes, because of the COVID and all that, the suicide is actually a very apparent and aggravating issues now more and more in children, but also in the healthcare sector, because a
Yes.
lot of the healthcare workers, due to a lot of the stress, it has been also been detrimental for their health as well, because your team is working so much around the clock to help all these young children to really get ahead and be emotionally stable and be part of this productive workforce and for our future. How do you what are the strategies that you use to actually help yourself but also your staff? Because sometimes with all the compassion fatigue, like there's so much that we have to do. It's challenging but also rewarding, right? So what kind of strategies are you using in order to also kind of motivate your staff and also to keep them or preventing from being burned out and all of that and beyond? Would love to hear that.
Thank you. That's a great question because you are absolutely correct. This is very stressful work, and it's not uncommon that our staff will experience secondary trauma. And because of that, it is they also get supervision from our staff whenever they're dealing with some real difficult situations. They work with their leaders and also in group sessions where they're able to process and talk about how they may be internalizing one of the client's trauma. That's not uncommon. It's also not uncommon that if you have lived experience, it will exacerbate your own trauma again, where you will experience maybe a trauma from an early situation where you will start re-experiencing your own trauma, as you know. So that support and helping to process is also very important for our staff. The other thing is that it's very important for organizations that do this work that they provide excellent work environments. So organizational excellence is one of our core values. And that includes that we're able to offer competitive salaries and benefits. So when we're talking to our healthcare vendors, the one thing I say is I want to make sure we have access to good mental health services for our own staff.
Yes.
And so that I really highly recommend that all businesses make sure that you take care of your staff, okay, and their children. And also we have human resources, and they're always making sure that they're bringing resources to our staff we do yoga, we do, flu shots, we do massages. We really do everything we can to take care of our employees. If they need time off, we try to be very generous with vacation. We have a mental health day. During the holidays, we give them the whole week off. Does not come out of their vacation or their paid time off. So we are very generous with vacation time, and we ask our staff to take vacation, take care of themselves. We offer flexibility, especially we're a female-dominated profession, so we want to make sure we're supportive of our mothers.
Yes.
We offer a hybrid where they, come into the agency 3 days a week and work from home 2 days. That provides flexibility that they need. We also do telehealth, so some of we don't want to lose good therapists because maybe they have young children, and they do 100% telehealth and help us serve our community. So we've been very creative in how do we support our mothers, our fathers, who are the therapists and psychologists and psychiatrists, to be able to provide these services. So good care of our people. You talked, and I just want to address the suicide rate, is that oftentimes when someone is having suicidal thoughts or ideations, they're going to show behaviors or symptoms, and sometimes they're keeping it to themselves. It's really important that if we observe that and our family members, our peers, our colleagues, is that we ask.
Yes.
I notice, you're quiet. I notice you're withdrawn. You're not as involved. You're not as talkative. I notice a different person. Just asking that opens them up to maybe say something to you. And if you can just have that open conversation and make it safe for them to know that you're there to support them, or just say, look, if there's something I can do to help you, I'm here. And let me know how I can help. Because oftentimes that can make a huge difference of someone not having to suffer and secretly or on their own.
Yes. And I will add on to that. This is a caretaking business, just like you are in the business of taking care of others. And when we do this, we have to take care of ourselves first. And that is not selfish. I think it's been, stigmatized in the past that if you take care of yourself, then you're being selfish. And I don't ascribe to that at all. I encourage my clients to have a very, important self-care regimen for themselves, whatever that might be, so that they're able to then care for everyone else. And therapists especially need to do this because we're hearing some really disturbing, traumatic things. We need to make sure that we are putting our self-care, our mental health first so that we can take care of them.
Thank you for saying that because we absolutely need to take good care of ourselves. We need to be compassionate with ourselves and give ourselves grace. We don't always do enough of that. And, when earlier you asked me, well, how do you, serve on this and this and this, is I have to have compassion for myself and give myself grace. And I make sure that, I'm always out walking, exercising, eating healthy, and taking that time to just reflect because I need to take care of myself so I can be a good leader.
Yes.
Yeah.
I have, and I've talked about this a million times, I'm going to say it again, I have militant self-care.
Yeah.
It's mandatory.
Yeah.
I give myself, no joke, 4 hours of
Yeah.
taking care of myself before I'll sit down in front of a client.
Absolutely.
When I do that, I am present.
Yeah.
I'm there. I am engaged.
Yeah.
I feel good. I've worked out. I've eaten something really healthy.
Good.
I've taken my dogs on a walk.
Yeah.
I've given myself a little massage in my massage chair, and now I am ready to help you. And it is what makes, I think, me be present and there and be able to listen and help in the best way. So.
And you exude that, wellness, right? And and you role model it to others. Because I think as women and as mothers and caretakers, whether we're caring for children or a loved one or our parents, we often forget to take care of ourselves.
Yes.
And or we feel guilty.
Yes.
If we're, wanting to take that time, and we cannot feel guilty. Like I said, give yourself grace and compassion.
They say put the oxygen mask on yourself first.
Exactly.
So you don't pass out before you can put it on your kid. So it's really
It's a great
important.
metaphor.
I love it. I love it. Oh, Charlene, I could talk to you forever. Forever. You are amazing. You are a force of nature. And we are so lucky to have you here as chair of the City Club board, but for everything that you're doing out there in the community. It's so inspiring to know you better after this podcast. And I know I'll get to know you even more as we go on, but I'm sure everybody's gotten so much out of this. Thank you all for tuning into the ANEW Body Insight podcast at City Club Los Angeles. We're really grateful to Charlene, and we look forward to our next exciting interview, and we really hope you join us next time. Thank you.
And thank you. Thank you, Dr. Tovar.
Thank you so much. Thanks for tuning into the ANEW Body Insight podcast. Please remember, the content shared on this podcast is for entertainment purposes only and does not constitute medical advice. You can find us anywhere podcasts are streaming, on YouTube at my.anew.insight and at anew-insight.com under the ANEW Body Insight podcast tab. Follow us on our socials at my.anew.insight on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and Threads for more updates. Tune in next time and evolve with us.